More than 4 billion people live across this vast continent called Asia, and we are telling their stories. On this edition, meet the hobbits. What the discovery of early human fossils in Indonesia tells us about human evolution.
When we study and learn about Homo floresiensis, we also learn about ourselves and what happened in the past that made us a little bit different.
And journey to a glorious past. The riches of an ancient civilization remain alive in Pakistan. We visit the town of Taxila and explore its wonders. I'm Danial Khan, and this is Assignment Asia. Welcome to the program. In 2003, archaeologists in Indonesia discovered the remains of an early human species so small in stature they've been called hobbits. The species was initially believed to have existed until 12,000 years ago. But new findings reveal the hobbits may have vanished much earlier, some 50,000 years ago, or around the time modern humans arrived. Silkina Ahluwalia visited the Indonesian island of Flores, where the remains were unearthed, and spoke with experts about what the discovery tells us about the human story.
The beautiful Indonesian island of Flores, the name derived from the Portuguese for flowers. It holds a secret to a civilization nobody knew existed until 15 years ago. It was in this remote limestone cave located in the small town of Ruteng, just outside of Flores' main tourist spot, strange fossils were found. On September 6, 2003, during a routine dig in the Liangbua cave, Indonesian archaeologists uncovered the skeleton of an adult female, measuring only about a meter in height. They named her Flo, short for Homo floresiensis, but she later acquired the nickname the Hobbit, inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien's fictional character and given due to the fossil's small shape and size. Wahyu Saptomo was one of the archaeologists who made the startling discovery.
Waktu itu sangat spektakuler, dengan menemukan itu kaget. Kita menemukan apa sih ini kok manusianya kecil gitu loh. Tapi kita yakin bahwa apapun itu pasti sangat penting. Akhirnya kita berupaya untuk mengangkat temuan itu dari dasar gua yang kita temukan dalam hampir 6 meter kedalamannya. Kita bawa ke hotel, kita persiapkan dengan sangat baik. Akhirnya kita bisa sedikit demi sedikit mengetahui secara utuh temuan itu. Dan kemudian kita melakukan perbandingan dengan yang lain-lain, ternyata ini cukup menarik. Karena dilihat dari ukuran kepalanya yang sangat kecil, sangat berbeda dengan kita. Dan kita juga belum tahu waktu itu ukurannya, volume otaknya berapa, tapi begitu sampai di Jakarta, kita ukur, ketemu sekitar 380 cc.
For hundreds of thousands of years, archaeologists believed that Flores could not have been inhabited by humans because the island was so isolated. Flores was divided by what scientists call the Wallace Line, founded by naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace in 1859. It's essentially an imaginary boundary that was drawn between Australia and the Asian islands. At one point, species were free to move around in both continents until tectonic plates began to move these lands apart, covering it in large amounts of treacherous water. That eventually ended up in driving evolution of human species in different directions, far away from Flores. It is known that our species, Homo sapiens, flourished in Africa, and it wasn't until much later that our ancestors began to move across the globe. Homo floresiensis, on the other hand, might not have been able to make that journey from Africa all the way to Indonesia. Its fossils showed that it was too frail to have traveled that distance or even swam to the deep waters that surrounded Flores back then. To this day, the finding still baffles archaeologists. Thomas Sutikna was with Wahyu on that eventful day in September 2003. He recalls how extremely fragile those fossils were, and transporting them back to Jakarta was a complicated process. It took them days by land and sea to get the parts from Liang Bua to where it is today, the National Archaeological Center in Jakarta.
Liang Bua secara umum merupakan salah satu situs arkeologi di Indonesia yang memberikan informasi banyak tentang kehidupan manusia di masa lalu. Dan bahkan Liang Bua merupakan satu-satunya situs arkeologi di Indonesia dan mungkin di Asia yang memiliki minimal 2 spesies manusia yang berbeda, yaitu satu Homo floresiensis, manusia purba, dan juga manusia modern atau Homo sapiens seperti kita ini. Beberapa dekade, beberapa puluh tahun yang lalu, tidak ada satupun orang yang percaya bahwa manusia purba sudah bisa bermigrasi ke Indonesia Timur. Tapi dengan penemuan di Liang Bua ini kita memberikan suatu bukti.
Those animal fossils were of the now extinct elephant species known as stegodon and the 5-foot giant bird, the marabou stork. It also turns out that Komodo dragons had set foot on this part of the island, which is completely unheard of today, as they can only be found on the western tip of Flores.
Sebenarnya Liang Bua sudah diteliti cukup lama ya, sejak tahun 65 itu oleh Pater Verhoeven, cuma hanya menggali sampai sekitar 1 meter dan menemukan beberapa rangka manusia, ada 7 kalau nggak salah, tapi itu berasal dari level yang bagian atas, sekitar 2000 tahun yang lalu. Kemudian dari kantor Pusat Penelitian Arkeologi Nasional di bawah kepemimpinan Profesor Siono melanjutkan penelitian di sini 78 sampai 89 dan juga menemukan kubur manusia zaman dulu sekitar 7 rangka, tapi itu juga sama di level Neolitik sekitar 2500 tahun yang lalu.
The original excavations were conducted between 2001 to 2004 and mainly focused on 4 regions of the cave. During that time, other fossils were also found along with pieces of charcoal in the sediments. The charcoal bits were discovered to be around 19,000 to 13,000 years old. When Homo floresiensis was first studied, the fossils was estimated to be about 18,000 years old. It wasn't until further exploration that they found Liang Bua was home to inhabitants even more ancient than that. Each and every layer that's being dug up here tells a story that dates back from 3,000 to 68,000 years ago. The discovery of Homo floresiensis changed the history of civilization as we knew it. Did Homo floresiensis interact with our species Homo sapiens at all? And what drove them to extinction? Those are some of the questions scientists are still working to answer. Since the discovery, reputable scientists and archaeologists from around the globe have joined the local team. One of those is Matthew Tocheri, who joined the excavation team in Liang Bua in 2008.
Discovery was incredible when it was announced. The main reason why is because right now we're the only humans left. Our species is the only species that still survives. But we know from the fossil record that in the past there were many species of humans. But most of them went extinct long before our species even evolved. But Homo floresiensis actually survived on this planet at the same time that our species was basically starting to move across the globe. And that's partly why it's so significant. When we study and learn about Homo floresiensis, we also learn about ourselves and what happened in the past that made us a little bit different.
At first, the discovery sparked a debate about whether Homo floresiensis was an entirely separate species or a dwarfed modern human. But that debate was eventually put to rest as more significant findings started to surface. But whether Homo floresiensis survived long enough to interact with modern humans remains an unanswered question. Since the famous fossils have been excavated, Flores has been generating headlines, much more than before. Tour operators have recorded a staggering 1,000% increase in tourism since the finding was announced. Now, Liang Bua serves as an unofficial tourist destination. Although the boom in tourism largely benefits the locals, the government is still prioritizing archaeological work within the cave.
Ketika Liang Bua ditetapkan menjadi salah satu dari 10 cagar budaya nasional, perhatian dari pemerintah juga kemudian meningkat, ya, baik dari pemerintah kabupaten, provinsi maupun pusat. Kami sedang berproses menata sarana air minum, kemudian toilet dan sebagainya kita siapkan. Pemerintah provinsi, karena ini menjadi museum adalah kewenangan pemerintah provinsi, itu juga sudah dalam agenda untuk diperbaiki. Lalu saya sedang berjuang ketika nanti surat keputusan Menteri Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan RI terhadap Liang Bua ini kita pegang, kita akan mendapat dukungan pendanaan.
Indonesia's contribution to the ancient human story began in 1891, when fossils were discovered in Java, which became known as Homo erectus. This recent discovery has brought about a new understanding of the relationship between modern humans and Homo floresiensis. The island of Flores has not only become an important archaeological site, but a place of birth for the new branch on the tree of human evolution. For Assignment Asia, I'm Silkina Ahluwalia in Flores, Indonesia.
Archaeologists may not have all the answers yet, but they are slowly making progress to fill in the gaps between the extinction of Homo floresiensis and the arrival of modern humans. Next on Assignment Asia, the ancient wonders of Taxila in Pakistan.
Culture Express. See the world in color.
Stories of hope, triumph, innovation, and change. We uncover the truth and go great lengths to tell a story. Get to know ordinary people with extraordinary stories and see Asia from an Asian perspective. This is Assignment Asia. Expect the unexpected.
The land where modern-day Pakistan sits was a place of conquests, culture, and civilization. That rich history is evident in the town of Taxila, once the hub of Buddhism, and today one of the world's major archaeological sites. I met some of the people working to preserve Taxila's ancient treasures and keep its legacy alive. The sound of mallet and chisel fills the rustic landscape of Taxila, a small town some 50 kilometers from Islamabad. Sitting by the roadside under the shade of mulberry trees, men work on stones for hours on end. Taxila may look like an ordinary town, but it's a place of historical significance. It was once the spiritual and cultural hub of one of the world's oldest faiths, Buddhism, and was home to the Gandhara school of sculpture, a treasure trove of arts and crafts. Gandhara art appeared in the region in the 1st century BC and flourished till the 8th century AD. Even after the civilization faded, Gandhara art was kept alive, handed down from one generation to another. Although Taxila's population today is predominantly Muslim, its Buddhist past has had a significant impact on people's lives that's evident in local handicrafts and the flourishing stone carving industry. With Buddhist influences, Taxila sculptors produce replicas of historical stonework. One of them is 37-year-old Muhammad Sadakat, a resident of Taxila and expert stone sculptor for the past 15 years.
बुजुर्गों का कहना है ना कि किसी ज़माना में किस वक्त में ये अपना जो है ना टैक्सला किसी ज़माना में मतलब संतराशों का शहर होता था। संतराशों का शहर मतलब इसमें मुख्तलिफ चीज़ें मतलब है कि हर चीज़ का अपना अपना रंग कलर डिज़ाइन जैसे तुम के टेबल होगा अच्छा वैन ग्लास होंगे तो जो कपड़े वगैरह होंगी तो लंगरियाँ वगैरह होंगी तो फिर जो है ना जी और बहुत कुछ मतलब है कि स्टैंड जो बत्ती जलाने वाले नहीं होते स्टैंड भी होते पत्थर से सब जो है ना चीज़ें नमूने मतलब है कि इन पत्थर से कमालात उनके बनते हैं.
His day begins at 6 in the morning, and for the next 12 hours, he remains at his spot under the tree. He can finish 7 to 8 pieces a day, earning about $5 for a day's work. Sadakat lost his father at a young age, and as the eldest of 5 children, he has to take care of his family.
मेरे मामू हज़रात जो है ना उनके साथ मैं पहाड़ पे गया हूँ उधर फिर मैंने ट्रेनिंग वगैरह ली है ट्रेनिंग वगैरह मेरी हाल क्लियर हुई है तो मतलब फिर जो है ना तो उनका काम अलग हो गया तो हमारा काम अलग हो गया तो वो बोलते हैं मामू बोलते हैं मतलब अब्दुल रहीम उनका नाम है ना तो बोलते हैं कि तुम अपना खुद काम करो मैं अपना खुद काम करूँगा.
The mountains Sadakat talks about are not far from where he sits. They are home to over 20 ancient sites, including Mesolithic era caves and archaeological remains of 4 early settlements. In ancient times, Taxila hosted a number of Buddhist monasteries. Its civilization reached its peak between the 1st and 5th centuries. Today, it is one of the most important archaeological sites in Asia and was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980.
ये जगह जो थी इसका जो पीरियड था ये 1st सेंचुरी एडी से 5 सेंचुरी एडी तक था 455 ईस्वी में सेंट्रल एशिया से एक हमला और कौम आई थी वाइट हंस उनके हाथों ये सारी तहजीब और ये यूनिवर्सिटी तबाह हो गई थी. बाद में ये जगह माशी बदहाली की वजह से ज़माने के रहम करम पर पड़ी रही. आंधी तूफ़ान ज़लज़ले जखड़ इसके दबने के असबाब बने थे.
Ramzan Abbasi has been a caretaker of archaeological sites in Taxila for over 3 decades and has become somewhat of an authority on Buddhist history, culture and way of life. He looks after Jolia, a site of a Buddhist monastery that some consider the world's oldest university. Ramzan says remains of 4 settlements in Taxila reveal a pattern of urban evolution in the Indian subcontinent through more than 5 centuries.
क्योंकि ये टैक्सला 3 दफ़ा तबाह हुआ था, इसके 2 पीरियड इससे पहले ज़ल्ज़लों से तबाह हुए थे। टैक्सला का जो पहला पीरियड था वो 6ठी सदी बिफोर क्राइस्ट 2nd सेंचुरी बिफोर क्राइस्ट तक था, और 2nd सेंचुरी बिफोर क्राइस्ट में बहुत बड़ा ज़ल्ज़ला आया था जिससे पूरा शहर तबाह हो गया था। फिर आसर नो टैक्सला को आबाद किया गया था जो दूसरी सदी बिफोर क्राइस्ट से लास्ट सेंचुरी बिफोर क्राइस्ट तक था, और वो शहर भी ज़ल्ज़लों से तबाह हुआ था। ये तीसरा जो पीरियड था ना, इसमें इस तरह की कंस्ट्रक्शन हुई थी। आप देखें हर दीवार के सेंटर में बड़े पत्थर यूज़ हुए हैं, साइड में छोटे पत्थर। ये जब ज़ल्ज़ले आते हैं ना तो छोटे पत्थर शॉक ऑब्जर्वर का काम करते हैं, दीवार गिरने से रुक जाती है। और ये दरमियान में पानी का तालाब था। उस ज़माने में जितनी भी बिल्डिंगें बनाई जाती थी उनके दरमियान में ब्यूटी के लिए या बिल्डिंग को ठंडा रखना मकसूद होता था, या सूरज चांद की लाइट को रिफ्लेक्शन करने के लिए तालाब बनाए जाते।
Born in the year 563 BC in Lumbini, present-day Nepal, Buddha never came to this part of the world, but many of his followers settled in Taxila.
इबादत गाह का एरिया था और ये 2 पार्ट्स पर मुश्तमिल था। बुद्धा की डेथ के 200 बरस बाद 272 बिफोर क्राइस्ट में ये अशोक इस मज़हब का पहला एम्पीरियर बना था, तो उसने वो राख वहाँ से निकाल कर अपनी सुल्तनत के मुख्तलिफ हिस्सों में, जहाँ बुद्ध तहजीब के बड़े मरकज़ शहर थे जिनमें ये टैक्सला सरफहरिस्त था, ये अंदर जो मेन स्टूपा, इस तरह के मेन स्टूपा बनाए गए थे जिनके अंदर बुद्धा की थोड़ी थोड़ी राख है जो तबर्रुक बमा डोनेशन के दफन हुई थी। और बाद में जो बुद्ध के फॉलोअर लोग थे उनके लिए ये मेन मरकज़ बन गए थे।
In 327 BC, Alexander the Great conquered Taxila, and later it came under the Mauryan dynasty and reached a great level of development. During the 2nd century, Buddhism was adopted as the state religion in this part of the world. It flourished and prevailed here for over 1,000 years until the 10th century. At the time, Taxila became an important center for culture, trade, and learning. The next period in Taxila's history was that of the Indo-Greek descendants of Alexander's warriors. And then came the Gandhara period. The great Kushan dynasty was established in 50 AD. And for 200 years, Taxila became a renowned center for philosophy and art before it was vandalized beyond repair. Those who visit the remains are struck with awe.
पढ़ा है लेकिन इतना डिटेल के साथ नहीं पढ़ा हमने उस तरह। जब आके देखा तो ज़्यादा अच्छा लगा, ज़्यादा समझ में आई इन्फॉर्मेशन टाइप मिली है। डिटेल में बताई है, बाकी मैंने ज़्यादा पहले देखा है कि ये जगह कैसी है। डिटेल से पहले मैंने देखे कि ये है कैसे कैसे फीचर्स टाइप, पहले इन चीज़ों पे मैं ज़्यादा फोकस मैंने किया है। डिटेल अभी हम और लेंगे, नहीं निकालना चाहिए, सर्च करना चाहिए। इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन, मतलब इस चीज़ से इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलती है, इतनी नॉलेज मिलती है। आई डोंट थिंक सो मशीन्स होंगी क्योंकि वो तो बहुत पुराना ज़माना था, बहुत कदीम ज़माना था। मशीनें तो अब ज़्यादा अब आई हैं ना, पहले ज़माने में तो मुझे लगता है इनकी इंसानों की अपनी एफर्ट्स थी, और ख़ास तौर पर उस ज़माने के इंसान थे भी बड़े ताकतवर। मतलब आजकल देखें, आजकल के इंसानों को देखें और उस ज़माने के इंसानों को देखें तो काफ़ी फ़र्क होता है उनमें।
This is Sirkap, a fortified city founded in the mid-2nd century BC. The many private houses, stupas, and temples here reflect a strong Western classical influence on local architecture. The city was destroyed in the 1st century by the Kushans, a Central Asian tribe. To the north, excavations of the ruins of the Kushan city of Sirsuk prove the early influence of Central Asian architecture in the subcontinent. These ruins of a 2,000-year-old civilization stand out for their magnificent architecture, so much so that not even the best contemporary architects can match the glories of the past. Taxila's museum houses some of the world's oldest artifacts. It has various images of Buddha and numerous panels describing the important stages of his life. Built in 1928, the museum is home to a significant and comprehensive collection of Gandhara art dating from the 1st to the 7th centuries. Most pieces in the collection here were excavated from the ruins of ancient Taxila. But not all the discoveries made it to the museum.
असल में उस दौर में वो हुकूमत में थे, पावर में थे, तो उनका वो भी चीज़ें यहाँ से काफ़ी सारी लेके गए हैं, जो कि उनके गंधारा गैलरी है, ब्रिटिश म्यूजियम है, वहाँ पे भी डिस्प्ले पे पड़ी हैं टैक्सला की चीज़ें हैं.
Pakistan passed a law in 1975 declaring Taxila a protected antiquity. As authorities work to protect Taxila's historical sites, they strive to preserve their authenticity and original designs. But experts say more needs to be done.
रिस्टोर करने के लिए तो काफ़ी हद तक डिपार्टमेंट बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है. इसमें ना काफ़ी जगहों को उन्होंने बड़े खूबसूरती के साथ रिस्टोर किया गया है. लेकिन मौजूदा दौर के मुताबिक जो जिस तरह के आजकल टूल्स हैं, अगर वो इन साइट्स को प्रोवाइड किए जाए तो इससे ये साइट्स और ज़्यादा भी बेहतर हो सकती है. और दूसरा जो मेन प्रॉब्लम चला आ रहा है हमारे पास, चूँकि जो यहाँ के जो मुलाजमीन हैं उनकी शार्टेज है, इस वजह से ये साइट्स जो है थोड़ी उस तरह अच्छी नहीं है जिस तरह पहले थी यहाँ पे ना.
Like many great civilizations, Gandhara may have vanished, but it remains a brilliant chapter in the human story. And today, Sadakat, heir to a long tradition, preserves the legacy of the ancient civilization with his mallet and chisel. Somewhere in the beats, one could still hear the kingdom's people, a people who built their empire and became masters of their art. Taxila is one of Pakistan's most famous tourist destinations, an archaeological site of great cultural importance. But experts say due to insufficient management, the historical monuments have been increasingly encroached upon by nearby developments in the area, including auto garages, business centers, shops and houses, with officials doing little to protect them. A diverse and wide-spanning World Heritage Site, Taxila faces an equally diverse area of conservation challenges. But if all levels of government can be put in concerted efforts, these archaeological and heritage sites can be prevented from deteriorating with the numerous threats they face today. That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Danial Khan in Islamabad. Thanks for watching and join us again on Assignment Asia.